Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Asia. If you want to see how I created this lace frontal wig, be sure to keep watching. Okay, the hair that I'm going to use to make this wig is from Hot Beauty Hair. That's a vendor off of AliExpress. As you can see, it came with these very pretty curls. I ordered this hair in 18, 20, and 22 inches. The link to the store is provided in the description box down below. If you're interested in seeing how I bleached, dyed, and customized this lace frontal, please click the link in the upper right hand corner. I will also have that link in the description box down below. The first thing I did was braid the frontal to ensure that the hair was out of the way. I used the 360 frontal to make this wig. However, the same procedure would be followed if you just use a regular 13x4 or 13x6 frontal. What you want to do is you want to place the dome cap on your head. Then I marked the cap in the back with a white pencil. You want to be sure that the frontal lays between 1 and 1.5 inches in front of the dome cap on your head. Next, we're going to stitch the lace from the frontal onto the dome cap. You want to make sure that the lace lies flat onto the dome cap in the middle part of the head. You want to make sure that it's flush, because if not, the lace will have ridges and gather in the front, so you won't achieve that flat, flawless scalp look. Then you want to stitch the lace close to the hair on the lace in the middle part of the head. For best results, you should measure the circumference of your head and use a mannequin that matches your head size. This will ensure that the wig fits properly once made. If you neglect to complete this step, I cannot stress enough that your wig probably won't fit correctly. As you can see, I sewed 2 rows of the lace to the cap to make sure it's secure. Here's the hair that I showed you in the beginning of the video that I ordered from Hot Beauty Hair. I'm using the 22 inch to start, and what I did is I took the needle and I put it through the weft, through the lace, and through the dome cap. I did this twice and I did a knot to secure it on the ends. Moving forward, the remainder of the stitches will not be through the weft, however they will be underneath the weft. So I'm going to sew underneath the weft, through the lace, through the cap, and then knot. You want to continue doing this, and you want to sew from the right to the left, and then I'm using the fold over method. So I'm folding the weft, I'm not cutting it, I'm folding it, and then I'm sewing it back onto the other direction. So you just want to keep doing that, sewing from right to left, left to right, from the bottom to the top of the head. I'm doing it in slow motion so you could kind of see exactly how I'm stitching it. As you can see, I'm not sewing through the weft, I'm sewing underneath the weft. And then I'm pulling the needle through and knotting it. And you just want to repeat this process over and over. One tip that I can give is not to sew. There, as you see, there's 2 black lines down the middle of the cap. Do not sew on this, because this is where the elasticity from the cap comes from. When you sew through that black line, it will take away the elasticity of the cap, and the cap will no longer be able to stretch to fit onto your head. Another tip that I can give is try not to place the wefts too close to each other. When you do, I notice that it causes the hair to tangle a bit more. However, you don't want to place them too far apart either, because it's going to limit the amount of hair you fit on your head. Now I'm sewing the 20 inch onto the wig cap. This time I'm going to double the weft to allow me to fit more hair onto this wig. I placed 2 T-pins on both sides of the head, and this will help hold the weft in place while I sew. Although it's double weft, you want to continue to sew underneath the weft. And when you get to the corners where the lace is, be sure to bring the hair as close to the hair on the frontal as possible. You don't want to leave any lace visible. This will ensure you have a flawless transition from weft to frontal. And I'm continuing to knot the thread as I sew. Now as I get closer to the top, I'm no longer going to double stitch the weft, and if you notice, I separated it and I took one weft and I'm taking it across and sewing it, and then I will fold it, and then I will take the other weft and sew that across as well. The reason why I don't want to double stitch is because you want to ensure that you have a flat foundation at the top and the middle of your head. This way, when you comb the hair over from the frontal, everything will lay nice and flat. In all honesty, the stitching at the top of the head where the lace of the frontal and the weft meet, as well as the sides where the weft and the lace of the frontal meet, is the most important. This will determine how flat and natural your wig lays, because if you don't sew it correctly, you'll be left with lumps and bumps in your head. And right here, I'm just sewing the last weft onto the wig. As I mentioned before, you want to ensure that you sew the weft as close to the hair on the frontal as possible, and try not to leave any of the lace showing. Now you want to turn the wig inside out and cut off the excess cap from the inside of the wig. I like to add elastic bands to my wigs because it helps the wig lay as flat as possible. You can buy elastic bands from Walmart or any craft store. Alternatively, you can use the elastic band from the cap that you just cut, and where you want to place the band is on both sides of the dome in the front of your hair, about an inch above your ears. Next, you'll want to trim the excess lace from the frontal. As a rule of thumb, I like to leave at least a half an inch of lace on the frontal, and then I can go back later and trim it if I feel that is necessary. It's better to cut too little and go back and trim more than cut too much. And last but certainly not least, you're going to want to spray the lace frontal with some knot sealer. I'll insert a link down below to what knot sealer looks like. You can purchase it at your local beauty supply store. This is an important step that people mostly forget when making their wigs, but this helps to preserve the integrity of the frontal and prevent it from balding. Well, that's about it. If you'd like to see how I install this wig, be sure to watch the next video in this series. It'll play next. I'll also link it up top and in the description box down below. Thanks again for checking out my channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, take care.